What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and today I want to talk about road racing versus oval racing because they are two distinctly different types of racing, and they really are completely different. It's like saying just because you can road race, you would be a great rally driver. It doesn't work like that. It really is that different. And a lot of road guys tend to look at ovals and go, wow, that's boring, you just turn left. And a lot of oval guys tend to look at road course racing and go, oh wow, there's like nobody within 3 seconds. Where's the challenge in that? That's what I want to talk about here today. First of all, let me go ahead and say this. While I haven't uploaded a lot of oval footage, I started sim racing way back with NASCAR Racing 1999 season. Now, I'm not a huge NASCAR fan by any means. I prefer open wheel racing by far. I'm a big IndyCar fan, not so much a NASCAR fan. But I do see the fun in oval racing stock cars, for example. You know, it's something that I've been doing the entire time I've been sim racing. However, I have always been more towards the road course side of things because it's just more fun for me. I enjoy it more. That said, oval racing takes tremendous skill. However, what I really want to prove is that just because you're good at road racing doesn't make you good at oval racing, and vice versa. There are some people out there, for whatever reason, think that, oh hey, I can road race, and road racing is more difficult because there's more corners, so I'll be really good at oval, and they'll probably get their faces smashed into the wall repeatedly, because it doesn't work like that. And if you want a real-life example of that, just go look at Juan Pablo Montoya and Dario Franchitti. And both of those guys actually did have oval experience, granted in high downforce cars that can pretty much flat foot anywhere and everywhere, but that's beside the point. The way you have to drive the two cars is completely non-interchangeable. When you're talking about oval racing, you're probably thinking about a NASCAR type of stock car, big heavy car. When you're talking about road racing, there's really nothing that compares. The closest thing that is commonly known in the sim racing world is a V8 supercar, which really, as big and heavy and powerful as it is, it's still 200 horsepower down on the NASCAR car, and it's still infinitely better handling because it actually handles. You know, you have to approach the tracks completely differently. Same thing as you have to approach driving a NASCAR type car on a road course compared to driving something even like a V8 supercar or a GT car that you'd find much more commonly in the road course side of things. Because the cars are so radically different, that's why you really can't be interchangeable without tremendous amounts of practice. Very few guys have been successful in both worlds. It's extremely difficult to do both in the real world as well as in the virtual world. For one, with a NASCAR car, with a big heavy car, you have to float the car, you have to let the car do its thing. You can't really grab one of these things by the neck and simply say, we're going over here every single lap. It just doesn't work like that. You know, as opposed to the road course side of things, you know, such as with a GT car, I can pretty much place it anywhere I want, wherever I want, do whatever I want, do whatever I deem is faster, and be done with it. On an oval, that really doesn't fly. Not only do you have much closer competition because of the nature of the circuits being very simple at 2 corners, in all honesty, even though some oval guy's going to insist there's 4 corners in an oval. The competition's closer. It's a lot much more difficult to be very competitive at the top end of things, because if you miss your marks when you're right up front, you're going to be blown by in an instant. Oval racing is measured in tenths of seconds, is measured in inches. Road racing is measured in feet and seconds. Now that's not to say road racing is easy, because it is not. If you flub up one corner in oval racing, you just blew half the circuit. And then momentum loss, which can often be much worse than the mistake itself. In road course racing, if you're bad in one corner over the course of a lap, you're bad in 1/10 of the circuit, 1/16 of a circuit, however many corners there are. You can get away with having a bad corner in road racing. In oval racing, there's not a chance that you're going to survive if you are consistently messing up a corner and losing 1/10 per corner. It's just not going to work out. In road racing, you can probably get away with it, work around it, and be conscious of it, and make sure you block a little bit differently going into that corner and be done with it. However, you have a significantly longer lap, and staying at that top limit in both sides of things, oval and road, is very difficult. It's exceedingly difficult. That's why so few drivers are really, 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 really good, regardless of oval or road course or rally. You know, over the course of a lap in an oval, you only have 2 corners to worry about. You only have to focus on, you know, one end and the other end, and it's pretty much that simple. Even on a course that's radically different at both ends, such as Darlington, it's still just 2 corners. Compared to road course racing, you know, there's a lot more corners, and if you're just half a mile an hour slower at the apex in one corner, you know, that's going to be half a mile an hour less down the straightaway, you know, and through multiple corners. If you're always half a mile an hour slower, that's going to add up to a fairly significant time loss over the course of a lap, whereas in oval racing, yeah, you'll be slower, but you're talking about 1/10 of a second. Road racing, you're talking about a full second. You're talking about 2 seconds. You know, it's much more difficult to be there at that very top limit and be good in every single corner than it is to be good in 2 corners. It's a completely different dynamic. I wouldn't say that it's more difficult to go road racing, because it really isn't. You know, road racing, you have to focus on the track. You have to beat the track and do as good as you possibly can. And you still have to race people, but if you're really, really fast, you might not even have to race anyone at all. You know, there's several races I can think of where you've seen people just blast off from pole position. Goodbye, never have to race anyone, no challenge whatsoever, just really boring. Oval racing, that doesn't happen often. Yes, I know it's happened before and it will happen again, but it is a once in a blue moon type situation. Now in closing, I'll say this. I would highly recommend, regardless if you're an oval guy or a road guy, that you try out the other one. You know, a lot of road guys just tend to dismiss oval racing and just be done with it, never even consider it. But honestly, it's good fun. It really is. It does take a different set of skills. It is much more competition based, in terms of your competition is always going to be right there in front of you lap after lap after lap. You know, it's not difficult to beat the circuit, quote unquote, but to beat that other driver is really what everybody who loves racing loves. So why wouldn't you enjoy oval racing, in all honesty? You know, oval guys, I would suggest you try road racing, because you know what? It's going to make you a better oval racer if you can consistently hit your marks on a road course lap after lap after lap through multiple different corners, and you know, just that adaptability. I mean, even in NASCAR, we've seen in recent years, you know, drivers go road racing, you know, in the Rolex 24, and a couple of guys even going over to Le Mans, you know, and actually becoming better road racers, and they've actually become better oval racers because they're no longer completely one-dimensional, basically. They can approach things differently. They do recognize, you know, what's going on with the car a little bit differently, and you know, that extra backdrop to have, you know, that contrast basically in driving styles. So that's that. Try them both because they're both fun. Bye.